kids, ready? I'm ready. Ready to learn with you today and have some fun along the way. Because you're awesome and amazing, there isn't anyone in the whole wide world who can do what you can do. So, are you ready? Ready to learn with me today and have some fun along the way. Ready, set, go! I am so excited to be with you today. We're talking about letter E. Now let's see what letter E looks like. Do you remember? And it sounds like equal, eagle, so it makes an E sound. Then egg, envelope, elephant, eh. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Let's see what we do with letter E. Can you help me find a letter E? What's this one? O. That was so fast. Guess what it tells us to do? Eat an egg. Are you ready? I love eggs. Do you love eggs? I think eggs are awesome. Do you know what else E stands for? Emergency helpers or emergency workers. They are people that help us when we're having an emergency. Now, if we have an emergency, like someone is sick and they can't get to the hospital and they need to ride to the hospital in an ambulance, or if somebody has a fire and they need the firefighters to come and help put out the fire, or they need some other kind of help, we can call a special number. And that number is 911, right here, 911. And then we have emergency workers that will come and help us. Isn't that awesome? We're going to talk a little bit about emergency workers today. And the three we're going to talk about the most are firefighters. There's a book about a day with firefighters. Paramedics. There's one about paramedics. And police officers. Here is a book about police officers. Do you know what? Firefighters, police officers, and paramedics help us with lots of different things. We're so glad that they are good helpers. And they come when we have an emergency. If we have an accident on our bike or our scooter, is that an emergency, or can our moms and dads and our caregivers help us with those? Yeah, we don't need to call 911 when we have that kind of an accident. Or what if we can't find our shoes? Is that something that our parents can help us with, or caregivers? Yeah. So we only call if we have an emergency like a fire, or we get a crash in our car, or if somebody can't wake up or they're so sick they can't get to their car and go to the hospital. So there are times when we can call and talk to emergency workers and they can help us. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to make something that helps emergency workers. Do you know what they use? They have to get places really, really fast. Do they get in a regular car, or do they have an emergency vehicle they can drive? They do. And you know what's on top of their emergency vehicles? They have lights and sirens so that people can get out of the way so they can get there so fast. They need to do that so that they can help us. So guess what we're going to do today? We're going to make an emergency vehicle. We're going to make a police car. So what you're going to need is to get a paper plate, and we're going to cut it right through the middle. Can you get a paper plate? And we're going to take it and we're going to cut it right in the middle, all the way across. Oh, okay. Now we have a paper plate. We're going to turn this into an emergency vehicle. Is that kind of crazy? Okay, do you have it cut in half? The first thing we're going to have to do when we cut it in half, we've got to paint it. Are there cars? What color are they? Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're gray, sometimes they're red. There's lots of different colors, but a lot of times they're blue. We're going to color these blue. And if you have different color in your city, you could color them a different color. But I am going to take my paints. And I'm going to open up my paints. And I am going to get some water. Do you have some water? Get some water. And we're going to take our paintbrush. And I'm going to dip it right inside the water. And then I'm going to paint my car. All right? Can you paint your car? I'm going to put it right here so that you can see me painting it. Okay? There it is. And I'm going to take some blue paint, and I'm just going to touch the blue paint. I'm going to get some water and rub it around, and I'm going to start painting it blue. Okay? And you might have to keep putting in water because we're going to paint and paint and paint. We're going to paint the whole thing blue. All right? Can you keep painting yours blue? This is going to be a good-looking police car, I think. What do you think? We're going to keep painting it. We got to paint all the way around it. It needs lots and lots of paint to be blue, doesn't it? Oh, how is that? How is yours coming? Are you getting yours painted? What color are you doing your car? Are you going to do yours blue too? We're going to paint the whole one. It takes a little while to paint, doesn't it? You know what? While we're painting, I'm going to sing the policeman song. You want to sing it with me? You ready? I'm a policeman dressed in blue. I want to be a friend to you. You can see me every day. I will wave my hand and say, it's my job, and I like it fine. No one has a better job than mine. I'm a policeman dressed in blue. Here are some things I like to do. Direct the traffic in your town. Help to keep you safe and sound. It's my job, and I like it fine. No one has a better job than mine. No one has a better job than mine. Oh, nice job. Okay, you know what? Now it needs to dry. We're going to need to let this car dry for a few minutes. So you know what? You can keep painting if you're not quite done. And I'm going to read you some stories while you're finishing painting. I'm going to get a couple more little spots where it was clipped on there. I needed to get a little more. And we're going to put it, and we're going to let this work on drying for a minute. So I'm going to set it down, and we're going to let it dry. And while we're letting it dry, I'm going to read you some stories about emergency workers. So you can let it dry. Oh, you know what? We're going to read one story, and then we're going to do something else. And we're going to start getting ready to make our emergency police car. All right? You know what? Let's start with A Day with Police Officers. They are emergency workers that help us. This book is by Jan Cote. Let's open it up and see. Oh, I skipped the first verse. A Day with Police Officers. We are police officers. We help people. We keep people safe. Can you see those police officers? We start the day at our police station. We find out where we will patrol that day. I patrol the roads. I make sure people don't break the law. I have to write a ticket if a person drives too fast. Sometimes if people aren't driving slow enough, they could get hurt, so they have to give them a ticket. I patrol on horses. There is a big parade today. We make sure that the people march safely. It's a good thing they're checking because we don't want anyone getting hurt, do we? I patrol on a boat. I make sure that everyone is being safe in the water. Have you ever gone up in the water and police are making sure that no one gets hurt because nobody wants to have a problem? I patrol on a bike. I ride my bike through the park. I make sure that everyone in the park is safe. I work on the street. I use my hands to tell cars when to stop and when to go. Can you see that? I make sure people cross the street safely. That helps us sometimes too, doesn't it? Sometimes the lights aren't working or there's lots and lots of people, and they help us so we don't get hurt by other driving cars, don't they? I patrol with Buster. Buster is a police dog. Buster helps me look for clues. Wouldn't that be fun to work with a police dog? They do lots and lots of good work. Sometimes I stop and talk to people. They thank me for keeping them safe. I am happy to help them. Can you see his face? Does he look very happy to be helping? That is a great book about what policemen do. They help us in so many places. So no matter what you're doing, if you're on a boat, if you're at the park, if you go to a parade, they're going to do their very, very best to help you stay safe. So we're glad to have them. Now, we're going to need a couple of things when our car's dry. It's still a little wet, so when you're done, we're going to set it away. But we need to make some wheels. Do cars need wheels? We need to make 2 wheels. So you're going to need some black paper. And I have a little container. And on top of it, I have a lid. And I'm going to take the lid and I'm going to trace 2 circles, okay? So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to lay it down. Let me get my page right here. I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to draw around it so that I can make sure I have a round circle to cut out. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. Can you see that one? I'm going to do 2 of them because I need 2 wheels for the car. If we only had 1 wheel, would it drive very good? So now I have 2 wheels. All right. I'm going to cut my wheels out. I drew them. Now I'm going to take my scissors. Fingers on the bottom. My thumb is on the top. Hold the paper. Don't let it drop. Open and shut. Open and shut. This is the way we cut, cut, cut. Fingers on the bottom, the thumb is on the top. Hold the paper. Don't let it drop. There's 1. Open and shut. Open and shut. This is the way we cut, cut, cut. Now, if you're not quite ready to cut, if you're still drawing the circles, that's just fine. I'm going to read a story about firefighters while we're getting our wheels. So our car is drying and we have 2 wheels. Now I'm going to read you a story. If you're not quite finished with your car and your wheels, you can work on them while we read about firefighters. Can you see those firefighters? We're going to read about what they do in their days. A day with firefighters. We are firefighters. We work at the fire station. The bell is ringing. There's a fire somewhere. Hurry, it's time to go. He's sliding down a pole. They're hurrying so fast they don't even have time to use the stairs. I wear a black coat with yellow stripes. I put on a helmet. Can you see that helmet? I open the door to the fire engine. I climb into the front seat. The fire engine races down the road. The red lights flash. The siren warns cars to move out of the way. When they go so fast, they're hard to see, aren't they? Oh, the building is on fire. There is a lot of smoke. I climb up a ladder. I carry a hose. I use the hose to spray water on the fire. Can you see him there? Now the fire is out. We worked very hard. We are tired. We are also happy. Do you think they're happy because they were able to get the fire out? We like helping people. We like being firefighters. Do they make a big difference? Do they help us so much when we have things that we need? They're there to help us, aren't they? Okay, we need now to make the lights on our fire truck. Our police car. So we're going to get a red paper and we're going to make a rectangle. We're going to do a couple of cuts and then we're going to turn it the other way and we're going to do one more cut. Okay, look. There. And you know what? We're making a light. I made it a little too long, so I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. So it's going to be a rectangle about this big, okay? And then we're going to cut a little tiny clip on one corner and a little tiny clip on the other corner. Now look at that. Does that look kind of like a light? We're going to take it and we're going to put it right on top of our police car like that. All right, we'll do that in just a minute. And we need to make some windows for our car. So there's a couple of ways we can do that. You can use a mailing label. Can you see how big this mailing label is? It's about 1 inch by 2 inches. If you don't have a mailing label is like a sticker. You can pull it off and stick it on. If you don't have a mailing label, it's really easy to take a paper and make one. So you can do it this way, or you can use one of these. And if you use one of these, we are going to cut it right in half. We're going to take one of them. This is 2 mailing labels. We're going to cut it in half. And then we're going to cut it in half again. So I need 2 pieces. I'm going to cut one more cut. So there's my sticker ones, or here's a glue one. Both of them we're going to turn a rectangle into 2 squares. These are going to be our windows. All right. While everything is drying and getting ready, if you're not quite finished, you can keep working on your project. And I am going to read you A Day with Paramedics. We'll see what paramedics do. All of these books are by Jan Cote. So we're going to read her story. She did a good job taking pictures for us, didn't she? My name is Tony. This is my partner, Beatrice. We are paramedics. We help people who are sick or hurt. We work in an ambulance. We get a call on the radio. A call means someone needs help. Oh, I'm so glad they're there to help. Oh, look at this. Look at the lights. Can you see those lights? It's an emergency. Someone is sick. We drive fast to where the emergency is. The people couldn't get in their car and drive to the hospital, so they have to drive fast in their special ambulance to them. We are here. We put the emergency kit on a stretcher and we pull the stretcher out of the ambulance. Can you see that stretcher? A stretcher is kind of like a bed to help the people with. All right, let's see what's happened. Oh, look. There is a woman who is sick. Beatrice puts a mask on the woman. This helps the woman to breathe. Can you see that? Beatrice is helping her so she can breathe better. And look, there's the stretcher. We put the woman in the ambulance. See, they put her on the stretcher and now she's getting in the ambulance. We will take her to the hospital. Beatrice stays in the back of the ambulance. She treats the sick woman. Can you see her? She's got her stethoscope and she's listening to her to make sure that she is okay in the back of the ambulance. The doctor meets us at the hospital. We tell the doctor what is wrong with the woman. Our job is done. Now we're ready for our next emergency. did the woman stay with the doctor? The doctor's going to help make her better. But the doctor couldn't go to the woman. So it was good that the paramedics were able to do that. So they are really, really good helpers. All right. You're going to need some glue because now we're going to put our car together. And I've got to find my glue. Oh, here it is. Got some glue. Now, the first thing we've got to do is we're going to take a little tiny cut on our car. We're just going to go a cut right here and a cut right here. And we're going to take a little triangle right out. Can you see that? We're just going to cut a little piece right out of the car. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. It kind of takes a minute to cut because it's probably still a tiny bit wet. Does that look like a little more like a car maybe? A little bit. Now, we've got some tires or some wheels. We need to glue those right here on the bottom. All right, so let's take our car, and I'm going to put it on here so you can see it. I'm going to stick my car back on my clip so you can see where I'm doing it. And I'm going to put some glue right on here and some glue right over here because I'm going to take my wheels and I'm going to stick one right here and one right here. There is my car. Oh, I'm trying to grab it so you can see it. There's my car and there's my wheels. All right. I put that one up a little far. All right, there we go. Now, what's going to go on the top of a police car? The lights. That's right. So right up here at the very top, we're going to put some more glue. Can we put some glue right on the top? And then we need to get our light that we made right here. We've got a light on the top of our police car. That means that they can turn the siren on and get there really fast. But do they need some windows? They can't see very good without the windows. So get your mailing label or your squares that you made, and we're going to put them right on the car. We'll stick it right on there, and we're going to put the other one on the other side because police cars need windows, don't they? All right, there's the other side. Look at that. Is that awesome? And guess what? Police cars always have something on the door. Well, usually they have something on the door to let us know it's a police car. So you know what I'm going to use? I have a star sticker. You can draw something on there, or you can get a star sticker, or if you have something else, you can draw one on there, whatever you want. You could even have your mom or your caregiver draw a star. Now we have a police car so that it can go super fast to whatever emergency we have. Isn't that awesome? That's such a good helping car to get us where we need to go. And that's what policemen do. They get in their fast cars. They drive really fast to an emergency, or they drive to help us. That's what they do to help keep us safe. We're so glad that we have emergency helpers. They help us stay safe. And the number that we called, do you remember what number we called when we want to get them to help us? 911. Let's sing that song one more time. 911, 911. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. When I need help, I know what to do. I dial this number for me and for you. It calls the police and the firemen too. It's 911. Have your mom or your dad or your caregiver show you how to find 911 on the phone. No, we never ever call unless it's an emergency, but it's always a good idea to know how to do it in case we have an emergency. Emergency is not something we plan on, it's just something that happens. And if we're prepared, then an emergency is really easy. We can just call the police and they can come help us. I love being with you. You are so incredible. See you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. You're awesome, possum. See you real soon.